What's up, everyone? ENADZT here, and I got a gameplay for you of me on Homefront once again. This is going to be a gameplay of me that I've had on my hard drive for a long time now. I haven't gotten around to actually posting it. I did a commentary over it already, but I decided to scrap that because it's kind of offensive for people. It's a pretty touchy subject that I didn't really want to post just yet. A lot of it was worded awkwardly, which is, it's surprising for my commentaries because I'm so fluent with the English language. I'm never stuttering. I'm never, saying seriously over and over and over and over. um, but really, it was a kind of a touchy subject, and I think I worded it weirdly, and not a lot of people will enjoy it. So I decided I'm going to scrap it and do it later on a different, not episode, commentary, whatever I'm trying to say. I'm going to scrap it and do it again for a later time. But what I want to talk about is a story from a 4-year period of which I was a awkward young teen, and I just want to put it in some way that's not high school stories with like Optic Midnight and white boy tagged in the in the video. This is a story that's from high school, and I kind of wanted to talk about it just because it's a really funny story, and not a lot of weird things happened around my neighborhood, and this is kind of the first thing that was really weird in my neighborhood that I've seen. One thing I want to clarify though is, or just talk about a little bit, is driving at night. I really enjoy driving at night just because it's so, I get to think a lot whenever I'm driving at night, and it's just a very calming thing for me to do. So, I really like driving at night. But one night I was driving my ex-girlfriend home. Well, at the time she was my girlfriend, but now she's my ex. Some people don't understand that for some reason. But I was driving my ex home, and I was coming back, and it's probably like a 10-minute drive. It's not that, 10-minute drive there and back, so like 5-minute there, 5-minute back. So it's a pretty short drive. But I was going down this one huge street that we have. It's like 4 lanes on either side. Like it's ridiculously huge, and very popular street. But it was about like 10, yeah, it was like 10 p.m. somewhere around there, and normally there's a few cars out there normally, but on this one night there was absolutely no one on either side of the street. I was all by myself. And I'm just like, this is kind of weird, not gonna lie. I've never really seen that street unpopulated, and like in 16 years that was the only time I've ever been the only one on that street. So it was kind of weird. So I was driving along, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and there's absolutely nothing around me. Normally when you drive at night, you can just see a giant flash, and that means that there's a car behind you because their lights are on. You can, they're supposed to be on at least. And so I'm driving down, and all of a sudden, there's no one in my rearview mirror. I look forward, and then I look back in my rearview mirror, and all of a sudden there's a car tailgating me. I'm like, what? Where the hell did you just come from? And literally, there was nowhere they could have just driven in, like turned onto the street. There was no like side street for them to turn on. The only way they could have been behind me was if they turned off their lights and had the most quiet engine ever. Because normally I can hear other cars around me, and I can hear like down the street. But no, they all of a sudden, like, I just look up and there's a car magically behind me. I was like, what the hell? And I could hear something. It was like, I was like, what is that noise? And then they go from behind me. They merge lanes to the left, pull up right next to me, and I hear the song now because I roll down my window a little bit, and I can hear the song now. All I hear is brass monkey, monkey. I'm like, what? And then I look over, and the guy in the passenger seat is wearing a gorilla suit. This is too stupid to make up. He's wearing a gorilla suit, and he's dancing to Brass Monkey while his friend is driving, and they're pacing me now. I'm like, okay. And then the monkey, he stops dancing, looks right at me, and trust me, this is a straightforward street. I can just look over for a while. But he just looks right at me and just waves, and then all of a sudden the car goes from doing about, I think the speed limit was like 45, so I was probably going like 45 to 50. It goes from there, and it goes to at least 65 to 70 up the street, and then does a hard, I'm talking about hard left into a 7-Eleven, and then I drive by, and I'm just like, this is going to be on the news tomorrow morning. I had no other words for it, because I've never seen something weird like that. And I just thought it was so funny. And the next day, I go to school, and I'm talking to my friend Sean, and I was like, dude, this crazy thing happened. And I was talking about like how like the gorilla suit. And I'm like, yeah, there's a guy with like a gorilla suit drove up next to me, and he's like, was he playing Brass Monkey? I was like, yes, dude, the same thing happened to me. I'm like, wow, okay, that's kind of weird. He's like, yeah, I was pulled up at a stoplight, and all of a sudden this car, this big brown, he describes the same exact vehicle. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like a brown, like a SUV. And he was like, yeah, they pulled up right next to me, and they started playing Brass Monkey. And the guy in the gorilla suit looks over at me and starts peeling a banana. And then and then the light changed to green, and I just floored it. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of weird, not gonna lie. So apparently these guys are either great tricksters or pranksters, and they're just like messing around with people. Or I'm on YouTube, or they probably got arrested because I haven't seen them or heard anything about them ever since. So I have no clue what to think of that. I want to know, guys, what are some weird stories that you guys know of? You know, that wasn't like some crazy story. The thing that sparked this kind of this thought was I was on Reddit, and I was browsing Reddit, and I see a thread about how a bunch of weird convenience store things, and this guy said that two 16-year-olds, like a 16-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl, they go in the store and they ask where the condoms are, and the guy says, "Oh, sorry, we're all out," and they're like, "Okay." And they proceed to buy soft pads, saran wrap, cooking oil, and tampons. And he's like, "You guys can do the math there." I was like, "That's hilarious." I just want to know, guys, what are you guys' cool stories that you guys know of? Because I want to hear them. I'm sure you guys have some freaky stories like that. You know, it doesn't have to be like depressing and gonna destroy my soul because I listen to them, but what are some stories that you guys know of? I'm really curious to think of that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this commentary. If you guys enjoyed it, I might do other stories and stuff that happened, if I can think of them at least. I've had a pretty boring life, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Tell me your stories in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. See ya.